Hello everyone, I'm Kim and welcome to my sewing room. I hope you're all really well and are having a lovely day. Today's video is going to be a bit chaotic because that's the sort of week I've had this week. I have been flitting from one thing to another, and when I looked at all of what I've got out on my table, I did think, oh my god, what am I going to show you this week? But I have actually done quite a lot. Not a lot of sewing, but I have actually achieved quite a lot. So I'm going to go through everything, and I'm first of all just going to relax a bit and just go through the things that I made. So with the recent videos I did on my shirt sew along, the intros and outros, I wore primarily I wore this blouse quite a lot to do each of those introductions to those videos. And when I looked back at the videos, I thought, do you know, I really like this blouse. I wouldn't mind making another one. This blouse was my very first make of 2024, and it's the McCall's 8325. It's version B, and it's the one with the tucks at the top of the bodice. All of the versions come with short sleeves, and I decided I didn't want short sleeves, I wanted a longer sleeve, so I extended the sleeves because that's the way I prefer my sleeves to be. I like them to be below my elbow. The fabric is a Nerida Hansen, and it's a cotton sateen, and it's beautiful. It's got a nice sort of sheen to it. The print on the fabric is very simple. It's got these really vibrant splodges over it, and it's a beautiful fabric. I am really annoyed with myself because I hark on about my project sheets all the time, and when I came to make my newer version, I obviously did not look back at this project sheet for this blouse because I decided that I would make it in a larger size, and I think I got a little bit carried away because when I made the shirt in preparation for the sew along, I actually did go up a size, so I just automatically got it into my head that I would make this blouse the next size up, and I don't know why, because it fits perfectly okay on the shoulders. And for me, the shoulders are the starting point of any garment. So, yeah, so it really wasn't a good decision to go up from a size large to an extra large. So I'm going to put the new one on so you can see what it looks like. But I'm just going to show you what this one looks like first. I'm going to stand up so you can see the fit on my body. It fits well on the shoulders. The tucks come just above the bust line, and then all of that fabric cascades down into a really floaty blouse, and it's really nice. And the blouse itself has these side panels that fit under the arm down, and they actually fit really well. There's plenty of ease in this top. There's no tightness to it at all. The sleeves are probably a little bit too short for me. I would have liked to have gone down a little bit longer so that they were mid-arm here, and I have done the elastic in them a bit too tight because they do keep riding up, and I have to keep pulling them down. But that's nothing to do with the pattern. That is me. That's something I've changed, so I needed to look at that. And also the top, I just wanted to make that a little bit longer. So nothing to do with the pattern again, just personal choices of mine. Right, so here is the exact same top, but in the next size up. So I cut this an extra large, so it's still the version B with the tucks in the front, but on this one I just lengthened the sleeves a bit longer and lengthened the bodice. But because I went up that extra size, it just feels that there's just too much fabric for me. I just feel that I feel swamped in all of this fabric, and the fabric is beautiful. I bought the fabric from Sherwood, and it's a Lady McElroy Hydrangea Midnight, so it's 100% cotton lawn, and it's beautiful, and it did work really well in this pattern. So I'll stand up and I'll show you the difference just going up one size can make. By going up that one size, I feel that there's all this, it just comes too far out from the body. I've got a tremendous amount of ease around this area, which I didn't really need, so it just feels there's a lot of fabric. The thing I do like about it is I do like the fact that I went a little bit longer on the sleeves, and the elastic that I put into the ends of the sleeve I've made looser, so they fit quite nice, and they're quite I can move in those without the elastic getting caught on my arm. Yes, I just feel, oh God, I just wish I had stayed at the same size as I had used on the previous one. Because I had made this before, I took my time with it, and I really spent time on getting the tucks in the front really even, and the tucks on this blouse took me longer to do as the whole of it. So I spent about 50% of the time getting the tucks just right, and then everything else came together really quickly. Because I had a little bit more of this fabric than needed, I did pattern match the back. So if you look at the back is actually two parts because it has an opening at the top. So I did pattern match the back, which I do try to do as much as I can. So I was really pleased with that. So that was a bonus. So even though I feel that this blouse is too big, I will wear it. It won't put me off wearing it at all. But I have made notes on the new project sheet in nice big bold letters, make a large. So that was my completed garment this week. The other thing that I've been doing this week is I have also been finishing up a pair of socks. Well, two pairs of socks actually. So there's these ones. These are quite big because these are for my husband. My husband gets really cold feet in bed, and he said to me, would I make him some socks that were short in the ankle bit, so that when his feet then get too hot, he can just kick them off with his feet. So I've made him these. He has been wearing them, that's why they're a bit baggy. And he just loves them, so I've made him a pair of socks, so he's happy for a little while, and I'll come to that in a minute. So they're his socks, and I decided to make myself a pair of socks as well. So I'm just going to put these on the actual sock holder so you can see them a bit better. And I just buy this different coloured and variegated yarn, and I just knit it up basically as it comes off the ball. So, and these are some lovely pink ones for me, and I always do mine exactly the same. I always have a longer ankle bit because I wear my trousers and I wear boots or Skechers when I work, and I just like them to come up a little bit further on my leg because I don't like my bare skin to show because it gets cold. So I just make some lovely pink ones a little bit longer, and it's just, I just love them. My husband says we've got so many socks, but I just love them. I just love knitting them, and I just like all the different colour variations that I have. So they're my two pairs of socks this week, and if I remember what yarns I used, I will put them down below. One of my main goals this year is to get my fabric collection stash under control. I have 106, well I did have 106 pieces of uncut fabric in my stash, and even though they are organised and I know every piece of fabric that I own, because if any of you that have been watching me for a while will know that I have this is my fabric in a box. So literally every piece of fabric I own in my fabric unit is in here. So there's a swatch of it in here, and I put it on little cards, so the card will look like that. So it has a little swatch of my fabric, and it has all of the details of that fabric on the card, and it will have everything on here, like the name of the fabric, how much it cost me, the length and the width, the supplier, if it's been washed, the composition of it, whether it's directional, whether it's woven or everything I could possibly want. So I have all of those made up. So when I do want to make something, I quite happily take my little box downstairs in the living room and I will flick through my cards, and every so often I'll come across a piece of fabric that I like and I will find a pattern and marry them up, and then that will start a project off. But because I have really been struggling to marry up some of my fabrics with the patterns, and I think this is why I keep buying new stuff, because I haven't really organised it in such a way that I'm finding it easy to find fabrics and a pattern that goes together. So what I have done, well, I've made up a spreadsheet of all the fabrics I've got. So I've got all of my fabrics now on here. And I know for some of you this is probably a little bit overkill, but for me, because I'm really trying to get my stash under control this year, I felt I needed to make it easier for me to find fabric. So for instance, when I was doing the shirt sew along, the B6747 is a shirt that only needs between 1.6 and 2 meters of fabric. And I usually look for fabric that has a little bit more, because I will also try to pattern match a shirt like that, because if you watch the Sew Along series, you will know that it just had a straightforward fold over placket, front placket, which makes it really easy for pattern matching. So usually I will seek out the 2 meter length pieces of fabric, and by doing that I can instantly find here all of my 2 meters of fabric. Even though I have my 2 meter section here, on this spreadsheet it will tell me whether it's 150 centimeters wide or 115 centimeters wide, so I can quickly go through it and just recognize straight away whether a fabric is great for that shirt pattern. So that is what I've been doing this week. I have decided that I do have quite a lot of fabric that is between 1.5 and 2 meters, and I used to buy 2 meters of fabric all the time because I am primarily a shirt lover. I make a lot of shirts, so 2 meters is always an adequate length of fabric to make a shirt. So what I did do is I went through all of my stash and pulled out all of the fabrics I knew that I could make that shirt in. So I have been cutting like a demon this week. So to start with, I use these sort of project bags, because when I did my batch cutting session a few months ago, I think it was in September, I did a batch cutting session where I cut out about 8 or 9 garments and I worked my way through them leading into Christmas. And I really enjoyed that process of cutting out quite a few projects so that I could just literally pick one up and start sewing straight away. So that's what I've been doing this week. I've been effectively batch cutting, but intentionally using fabrics from my stash. So I cut out 3 additional shirts. So I've cut them out in some really striking fabric. So I've got this one here, which is quite psychedelic really, but because I had 2 meters of it, which is a little bit more than what the pattern had recommended, it allowed me to pattern match. So I've got that shirt to make up in that fabric, so that's cut, and that has now effectively come off my list. So even though I haven't made it up, I've got it cut and it's got a purpose. Then the next shirt fabric was this one. Now this is a plain fabric, but it's holographic, so it has a sort of red and blue purpley look about it. It's really, really nice. So, and I'm quite glad because I want to try and do a little bit more this year using plainer fabrics, which I think is a real necessity in wardrobes, because I can't carry on just making you know, busy print garments. It's like I said, sometimes I go out and I look like a hippie because nothing goes with anything. And then the third one I cut out is in this fabric. Now, you have seen this fabric before, and I had some of it left, which is this beautiful cat fabric. And this is a Lady McElroy. It's called Catwalk. It's a Lady McElroy cotton lawn, and I just had enough of this to make this shirt, and I had enough also to do some pattern matching. So hopefully you will see that very soon. I'm quite excited about that one. So when I was going through all of these pieces of fabric and cutting out this shirt, I did think, you know, I'm pattern matching all of these fabrics up for that shirt which I did the sew along for. So I think what I need to do is I need to do a bonus video so that I can show you how to pattern match, so that when you do come to do one of those shirts, the B647, you also have an idea of how to pattern match. And for a beginner, that shirt is an excellent starting point to pattern match because it's a continuous placket. So you just need to find the position of your plackets and where they lay on top of each other to pattern match. So I will be doing an additional video so that you can have a go at pattern matching. I just need to find some fabric that is easy to film so that you can see what I'm doing. So that is on my to-do list. Also in my stash, I had quite a lot of fabric that I hadn't bought for Seaforth pants, because I'm absolutely nuts about the Seaforth pants, and so I hauled all of that fabric out, and I found 5 pieces that I knew that I had bought to make these pants up. So I've got them here on the card, so I'll go through them. The first one is called Emmett Twill, and it's a dark teal colour. It's 200 grams per square metre weight, so it's a nice weight. It's not too heavy and it's not too light. It's the perfect weight to take me from this cold weather into sort of the beginning of spring. So I think this will make up a really nice pair of a Seaforth pants. So that was the first fabric. The second fabric was a lightweight cotton poplin. Now, I have made Seaforth pants up in this weight fabric before, and this weighs 125 grams per square metre, so it's a lot lighter, and but it just had a really nice pattern on. So this will really be a summer weight pair of trousers. So you see that lovely pattern there. Then I bought 2 lots of Bengalin fabric, and I do apologise if I've said that wrong or not, but I wanted to buy this fabric because it had a really nice weight to it, and it had the weight where it felt like it would drape and it wouldn't crease a lot. So I bought it in a brown and a navy. And the thing that I noticed about this fabric is the stretch actually goes across the grain rather than down the selvage. So when I cut this pattern out, when I cut the Seaforth out in this, I had to cut it out actually on the cross grain so that I could get that stretch across my hips, you know, where I needed it. So the weight of this is 220 grams per square metre. And this is 77% viscose, 20% nylon and 3% elastane. So it's a really nice weight fabric. And I'm quite interested to see how they actually come together and are made up, because I think with that elastane in the trousers, it always makes for a more comfortable garment. So got those cut. And the last fabric I've got cut for the Seaforth pants is some fabric I bought from Sherwood's, and this is 200 grams per square metre, and it's 97% cotton and 3% spandex. And this is called Cotton Sateen Chino, and it's a beautiful, it feels like a silvery grey, and it's got a really, really nice weight to it. So and I'm quite excited that I've actually got some plainer fabrics that will go with all of my really nice busy blouses and shirts, because I'm really lacking in trousers and just plain fabric garments. So they've all been cut out, and I have them all here. They've all been cut out, ready to be sewn. The only thing I'm waiting for on these are the zips, because the Seaforth pants has two pockets in the front which have zippers in. So I've ordered those, I'm just waiting for those to come through. When I was pulling out all of the fabric to make up the shirts and the Seaforth pants, I was pulling out lots of other fabric and just laying it on the table, trying to think of patterns that it would work with. And I pulled this out, and it was sitting on the table, and I bought this 4 years ago, and I was going through a bit of a stage where I was making shirts in really wacky sort of fabrics, and this definitely falls within that category. And this is a Sugar Skull Celebration cotton fabric on black background. And when my husband saw it, he said, "Oh, I'd like a shirt out of that." So I thought, great, that's another piece of fabric that has got home. So I will make him the McCall's 6044. I've made it before for him, so that's going to be easy. So that's another one to be cut out and put in my stash of projects to be sewn. So that's good. So purchases this week. It's not really this week. I've actually been purchasing a few things over the last couple of weeks, but because I've been doing the Makes 24 series and the Sew Along, I haven't had an opportunity to show you. So I've got a few things to show you, and one of them I am really excited about, and it is this beautiful pattern here. Now this pattern is no longer in print, and I had this in my stash a very long time ago when I was really tiny, and I cut into it and I hacked it to death, and it effectively got ruined, and in the end I had to relent and bin it. So I ended up getting rid of it, thinking I'll just replace it. And this was a pattern that started me tracing my patterns, because I've realised that these things don't always hang around forever, and this was my all-time favourite pattern. And there are some of these out there, but they're all in the smaller size, and I'm no longer in that smaller size bracket. I'm in the larger size bracket, and one of you, my lovely subscribers, found it for me, and I'd like to thank Eva, because this has meant the world to me, that you actually spent time looking for this pattern on my behalf. And as soon as I had the link, I went and purchased it, and thank God they were in the UK, so I didn't have to pay extortionate shipping for it. So I have it's a lovely pattern, and it makes me smile every time I look at it. So I'm definitely will not be cutting into this, and I have already traced off my first garment from it. So it's this blouse here in particular that I always loved, and I have cut it out in some fabric from my stash, being a good girl, in this colourway here. So it's very lightweight, and I was going to de-stash this fabric, but when I looked at it, I instantly thought it would work really well with that pattern, and I thought I've measured myself, and I'm going to go with what the pattern recommends. I'm going to make it up and see how it all comes together. So if it doesn't work for me, it's no great loss, because I was going to de-stash this anyway. So fingers crossed, hopefully it will all come together. So I have cut that out also, and that is in its little bag ready to go. So you can see I have been quite productive this week. I feel quite smug actually. The other things I've been buying, I did buy a few more patterns. I can't remember whether I mentioned this one before, because this was shown by Carol, I think before Christmas actually. It is a jersey dress, and as you know, I'm effectively a beginner at jersey garments. I don't really sew a lot in jersey, but Carol, she loves her jersey and she's quite an inspiration. So she showed this dress here, and she had made this dress and it looked absolutely fabulous on her. And I just like this detail in the front where you have the tie over the tummy, which I thought was quite clever. The only thing I will probably do with this is I will definitely extend the sleeves so that they are 3/4 length. So that's a new pattern in my stash. So thank you, Carol, for showing us that beautiful dress that you had. One of the other patterns I bought was the Peony dress from Godmother. I think it was before Christmas. I went to a sophistication tea party in Woking, which wasn't very far from me, and I went along, and I think it was one of the first, well, it was one of the first social events that I had been to. And quite a few of the ladies, because everybody was wearing stuff that they had made, and it was this explosion of fabric and colour, and quite a few of the ladies there were wearing the Peony dress, and I thought this Peony dress looked absolutely gorgeous. It was so flattering. So I have bought the pattern and I sent it off to be printed, and I used a different print company to print the pattern off A0 size, and when it came back, I didn't particularly like the quality of the paper. Is excellent, but it's just way too heavy for me, because I normally get my patterns printed by, oh god, what are they called, Fabuloso, and I really like the paper weight that they use, because it feels a bit like a cross between paper and greaseproof paper. It's thin and a little bit transparent, and I really like the weight of that. But I thought I would try a different company, but I won't use them again. I will go back to Fabuloso. The only reason why I wanted to try a different company was because Fabuloso do not print out A4 instruction books. They print them out A5. And at the time I was printing out a lot of Pattern Emporium instructions, which run into 50-70 pages on A4, and I thought I really didn't want an instruction book to be A5, because I was thinking maybe I would lose all of the detail with everything being shrunk down to an A5 size. But I will just use one company, Fabuloso, for my A0 pattern printing, and a different company for my instruction booklet printing. So this is on the cards. I will probably make this closer to summer, because I will definitely make a twirl for this, and I haven't got enough calico fabric in to do the twirl yet, but as you can see, I've got quite a lot already cut out. So they're the patterns. The other thing I thought I would treat myself to, because I really want to get into getting my fit right, I thought I would treat myself to a little paper pattern punch. Now, I did have one of these a while back, but it was horrible. It effectively ripped the paper. It didn't punch it out, it just literally tore. So I treated myself to a really nice one, and I've used it, and this will be for the notches in the paper that I use to trace off my pattern. So I've got that. And when I was doing my shirt sew along, at the very end, when I was doing the buttonholes, I had this thing where I find a primary position for that first button to go, and I go through this process of measuring and putting a pin in, you know, different measurements before I get an idea of where I want all of the buttons to go on my shirt. And I had been meaning to buy one of these for a long time, which is this gauge. So I think once I found my primary buttonhole, and I can just use this, and it's a lot easier. I thought I can just use this to, you know, find out where the other buttonholes go. And I've decided to buy a metal one, because there are plastic ones out there, but I just wanted something that would was a bit more sturdy, so I bought that as well. So those are all of my purchases, and I think for today that is it. So hopefully you've enjoyed my video and give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.